Yeah, you can.
if you want to do that.
It's
Or
on you.
whatever you want to talk about. I'm open.
Okay. All
Yeah,
right. It's
I'm
on.
so geeked up for this stuff, man.
Mhm.
You already know what it is. Live, uncut, unedited.
That's too slow. I need it like you already know what it is. Live, uncut, unedited. I needed that speed. I said it's too slow. Mhm. They coming in. You can say something. We really doing a test, people, but you guys welcome to come in. Welcome to come in.
Let me see. If I took these headphones off, let me see if I could hear you through.
You gotta have some studio mic.
Say something. Huh?
Mic test. Can you hear me?
Ah, so that's what it is.
What is it?
I got to keep the headphones on because if I turn, I'm afraid if I hit the computer microphone, I'll lose it. But that's cool. That's cool. I have to have the headphones on to hear you.
Oh, okay.
But that's good. That's fine. No problem.
Yeah, I got studio speakers. That's why I don't have to have no headphones on.
Mm-hmm.
I know I ain't had no headphones on so long.
Yeah.
I got them though, but I just don't even.
Right.
I got them. We just doing a test, people. I know y'all tuning on in anyway, but y'all want to talk about something, Mark? Yeah.
Well, I know that did we talk about them signing the deal to start the phase one of the building of the interchange for the South Suburban Airport? Did I talk about that on
We did say
your
something
live?
about it. Yeah, we did say something about it.
Yeah. Well, um, I know we have to get geared up, which is why it's important for us to organize. I talked to a few other people today, and just to show you how I understand how people get discouraged, or they become so jaded because they participate in the process and then they look around and don't see anything changing.
Right.
A good friend of mine, I mean, this is a good friend of mine. I got him to come on in with us with a 10 by 10. And when he saw the other people and then he heard what it was that we were doing, I mean, he is totally in now. This is somebody who had been jaded and just, he said, and I'll let him tell his story when he comes on because I think it's important. He said that he had just about given up on the whole political uh, engagement. And he comes from a family of activists.
Mm.
Um, I mean, noted activists, not, some, when I tell you, um, do you know who, um, now it must be late. Names are escaping me,
Mm.
but he's one of my favorites. Um, Joseph Lowry. Do you know who Joseph Lowry is?
I heard that name.
Joseph Lowry was the first president of SNCC, um, for Martin Luther King.
Okay.
He did the inaugural at President Obama's, and he SCLC, not SNCC, but SCLC, the Southern Leadership Christian Organization that Dr. Martin Luther King started, but well noted throughout the country. He spoke at Rosa Parks' funeral, spoke at um, Coretta Scott King's funeral. I
Okay.
mean, just well noted. He
Yeah.
is
Wait.
the nephew. He's a nephew of Joseph Lowry, and he had just about given up. And he came in, and when he started hearing about what we are all doing in terms of organizing to build a block, to build a voting block. And then when he heard it, he came in. He told me he reluctantly came in. But when he came in, after he came in, he got really hyped up about it. Got really hyped up, and now he's going out and telling the story to other people, and called me Saturday when I was at the funeral, but I told him I couldn't talk at that moment, but I'll call him back.
Right.
And I called him back when I got home from the funeral, and he told me that when he called me, he had somebody on the phone that he wanted me to talk to about 10 by 10 to win. And but again, I was at the funeral, so I couldn't have that conversation with him, or I was at the repast, I should say, but I couldn't have that conversation with him. But then when I called him back, he had talked to her, and between then and today, he says that he has talked to another 3 people. So he is intent on having his 10 people come Thursday at our next meeting. That's the kind of enthusiasm that we all have to have. But I also understand people who have become somewhat jaded by the system, and it's not the system, it's the fact that we haven't been organized, or we haven't made this kind of movement to organize ourselves this way, right? We have a bunch of different organizations, a bunch of different people doing good work, but we have not brought ourselves together so that through the people we can make the kinds of impact that we need to make on people who are holding public office.
Okay.
So I think that we collectively, have to stand and encourage those people and hold those people up, and don't let them give up. Don't let them give up. And they don't really want to give up, right? It's not that they want to give up. It's just that, they poured their belief, they poured their soul into going out and voting and participating, only to see that our communities are not being treated fairly in the process. But part of that not being treated fairly in the process, responsibility is ours, not individually, but ours collectively. And that's what this is. And if we do it, and we must do it if we want to see real change, because I can guarantee you this, that if we don't do this or unionize ourselves to where we could stand up in one big voice and say to the political structure, like, for instance, the one issue of the South Suburban Airport. The South Suburban Airport will be a transformational development for the Black community, more than anything else that has happened.
But Mark, we got to get them jobs, though.
Well, that's what it's about.
That's
what it's about. Look, we have never been on the front end of building something as transformational as an airport. O'Hare Airport was built by Mayor Daley in 1955. We had no part in that, right? So we had no decision making in that to make sure that Black folks participated at every level. An airport, you can have people participating at every skill level, from the lowest labor to the highest of technical position or managerial position. So at every area, there's not a single building project that generates more jobs than an airport. Airports generate more jobs than any other development, period. China is they're close to building 100 airports in 20 years, and we haven't built one in 30. And we're the number one transportation hub in the world. So Ross Perot's son built an airport called Alliance Airport. You can look it up. He built the airport out in Fort Worth, Dallas. And everybody told him that he was crazy. What is he building this airport for? Who's coming out there? And he said, you know, well, I don't need your money. The difference is Ross Perot Jr. had his own money, so he didn't need any help, right? He bought the land and built the airport. Now, all these years later, there are 400 of the top 4-star companies that are around that airport, that have some industry around that airport. That airport generated 68,000 jobs for that region. So I want to take Johnathan, what's her name? Lauren Underwood, Danny Davis. I want to take them out to Dallas, Fort Worth, because they should be gearing themselves together, going to J.B. Pritzker and telling J.B. Pritzker, get this airport built. If you don't get the airport built, then the Black community will not be supporting you and you won't be elected as governor. Because J.B. Pritzker really doesn't want the airport. He doesn't want the airport because he wants to support his cronies. Now, and this has got nothing to do with party. I don't want people to get off on Republicans versus Democrats, because it's got nothing to do with this. What this is, we have a Democratic governor, but we still have to make that governor perform for us. And if the governor doesn't perform for us, then we go get ourselves another governor. That's where the power comes in. That's what makes us powerful, is that when you're not doing something that's going to benefit and transform Black people's lives, then Black people have to be in the position to say, you're not doing anything for us. We're not going to do anything for you. And we're going to demonstrate that we're not doing anything for you by removing you from office. Because guess what? There's nobody who can win statewide office, countywide office, or citywide office without the Black vote. Period. Did you know that?
No, I didn't know that, but I know they need a Black vote.
So since they need it, and they have been manipulating it, and there has not been the kinds of reciprocation at the level locally that it should be, we should ask ourselves why. And the answer to that why is that we have never been organized to where we've had ourselves unionized to be able to say to somebody, if you're not delivering, then we have to fire you and hire somebody else. Do you know anybody who enjoyed being fired from their job or didn't care about being fired from the job? The people who care the most about not being fired are politicians. It is a big ego killer to them to lose an election. That's why they disappear and you don't see them in public for a while, because it's like the most shameful thing that you lost your seat. Well, we need to be in a position for them to fear, because they know that we do have the numbers to make that, if we make that decision, that we could back our decision up, because we've got a unified block of voters to say, we're not going to reelect this person, or we're going to elect somebody else from our own. And I was thinking about that the other day. If we've got 100,000, 200,000 voters in the block, we could choose people from our very own who might have desires to go into public office. We can select from our own and then go elect them. That's another layer of power that we could have if we commit ourselves to organizing the block.
Mark, do we really want power though? See, that's the thing.
We want power, but I don't want to say that we don't want power. We want the power and we want to make things happen. but we get so distracted on these sidebar issues that we put more energy into yelling and screaming and being angry, and put little to zero energy in doing what is the most effective thing that you can do to address any issue that you care about, is organize. Organize. You can go on and you have lives and you have your audience to come on, and they will air and vent about, not to say that the issue is not important. I'm not at all suggesting that whatever issue that is important, from education to economics, that's important, because everybody has issues that is critical to them, whether it's education or whether it's economic or business, whatever, mental health, you pick one. But as an individual, you are not going to impact that issue as you could with an organized body of people. But you have to have the masses of numbers in order to do that. And we have plenty to organize the numbers from. Plenty. We have over, in Cook County, we have more than 1 million people, Black people, in Cook County proper, which is made up of Chicago and many of the suburban areas. We have more than 1 million registered voters just in Cook County, not to mention, the other areas of the state of Illinois where Black people live. But most of the statewide offices that people run for, and certainly most of the countywide offices and citywide offices, the large majority of the votes come out of Chicago and Cook County. So, but we as Black people have not organized ourselves together. We have fractionized organizations where we might have 10 organizations doing great work. Not that they're not doing great work, they're doing great work, but making the kinds of incremental progress that you can't even measure the progress that they are making, because of one reason: they don't have the kind of support and strength behind them to push those issues that are important.
Mm-hmm.
Right? We have thousands of organizations. I don't know how many organizations, but we have thousands of organizations in Chicago and Cook County. Many of them doing great work. We're not even going to get into talking about those that are just on the hustle. Not talking about those, but I'm talking about, we have the majority of those people who are doing the work that's important to our communities, are earnestly trying to make a difference. And they are making a difference in some lives. But when we're talking about economically strengthening our communities, because a strong Black community elevates the rich white community. And what I mean by that is because they control or own most of the larger companies, right? They own them. And we support those. When I say we support them, I mean we buy their stuff, we buy their goods,
Mm-hmm.
we go to their restaurants, we buy their appliances, we buy all of their goods. Our houses are full of products that are owned or distributed by white people that we don't even know. So we buy their stuff. So there has to be some reciprocation, because we're buying your stuff. Then, like Henry Ford did. Henry Ford didn't care anything about Black people, but you know what Henry Ford did? He made sure that he had a bunch of people who could afford to buy his cars.
Mhm.
because he realized that, when if these people are making enough money, they can buy my cars. So we need to make sure that our people are economically sound, that they have a good chunk of all of the jobs in every area, that any black person who wants to work can have the opportunity to work and earn a good living. There's no reason in the world why we should be having 47% unemployment in black males between 18 and 25 in 2023.
Yeah. Yeah, that's by design, Mark. You know that's by design.
I understand all that. We don't
Yeah.
need to analyze all of that. I understand that. But what I'm saying to you is, whether it's by design or whether it's by neglect, it is on us and incumbent upon us to change. It's not going to change, to your point that it's by design. That design will not change if we don't change the way that we get up and function every day. It's not going to change. All we're going to do is continue to have conversation about it. And if we're just good with just having a conversation about it, okay, just say that. We just want to get up and vent and be upset, be angry, and talk about, why this group or this person, that person is not doing for our community. If that's what we want to be, if we're okay with doing that every day, if that's what gets it for us as a people, okay. But I say that if we're going to complain about something, let's put a strategy together so that we can do something about it. Because we've been depending on other people that we have given a chance to do something about it, and they have not delivered. So then that tells me that we have to change our strategy. And changing our strategy is building a wide enough tent across all of these electoral lines. And what I mean by that is districts where you have state representatives, state senators, and all that sort of stuff. Not somebody who is, talking about giving us some festival out in the park in the summertime and
Food
pass out a
giveaway.
few chickens and bring some entertainment in, and we come out and we have a placebo of all day party, and then we go right back to our pain
Mhm.
of struggle at home. But I'm voting for such and such because, man, he gives us that festival every year, but I'm unemployed for the rest of the year, but he gives us that festival every summer. I mean, it's an insult to me to see these people manipulating our communities this way, and then our communities are falling for this.
Man, it's the same thing, same cycle. Coat drive, turkey drive. They have a
Right.
job fair. They give a
Mhm.
festival, give away food. It's the same old, same things.
Do you know they don't have job fairs in the white community?
Mm,
They don't have job fairs in the white community. You know why?
right.
Because they're all working. They don't
Mm,
need to have a job fair. They're all working, but they have job fairs in our communities, and we're still not working.
still not working. Turn that weed loose.
We're still not working. No. What do you mean? Why do we have to turn it loose?
Yeah.
I don't even smoke. I'm not an advocate for it, but I'm just trying to get you. Why?
Some
White folks use drugs just as much as we
I
do, but
know.
guess what? They are working. They're earning average $100,000 a year, and they come home and buy their weed and drink their beer.
Mark, Mark, we can't do what they do.
Yes, we can. Of course, we can. Who said that we can't do what they can do? Who says that?
We can't get away with what they get away with. Man, they get away. They get away with so much, and we try to.
That's not that. But that's not what I'm saying.
Mm,
That's not what I'm saying. Black folks just want to live. Black folks want to live a decent life like everybody else. and should, because black folks have contributed to the upward mobility and the wealth of everybody else in this country. All of these companies, these large companies, are doing well because of what black folks sold for 246 years of free enslaved labor.
Mm-hmm.
They are still generationally doing well. So, a part of reparations is making sure that we have the equity that we should have to participate in. That's a part of reparations. However, in order for us to get that, we've got to organize ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And that means bonding ourselves together to be in a big enough number
of dollars.
that every one of those people who are currently in office, I mean, we're not doing this to wait for the next election. We can do this if we do it and do it now. We can make an impact on everybody who is in an office right now, including Brandon Johnson, including Governor Pritzker, Tony Prettwinkle, anybody you want to name that's in an office. We can impact right now if we were unionized in the numbers that we have that we've been talking about and that we're working to do. We must do it. We do not have an option. The liberation for people is not coming by any one man or one woman. It is only going to happen by the masses. And it hasn't happened because the masses haven't organized. Not one. You can't go anywhere in these United States of America and find an organized group of black folks.
Mm.
You can find not a masses, you can find a group of black folks that might have 20 over here, 50 over there, in those kind of numbers. But you can't go anywhere in this country, especially where there are large populations of black folks like Chicago, Philadelphia, New York, Detroit, LA. You know what you're going to find? Disorganization. That's what you're going to find. Disorganization. Now, so as Johnathan would always say, I'm not interested in fixing the blame. Let's fix the problem. Nobody can stop us from fixing that problem. They might stop us right now from participating in jobs, contracts, that sort of thing, because we are so disorganized. But when we are organized, they can't do it. They can't do it. We can institutionalize that. We can do that. We must do it. Because if we don't do it, what we're really saying is, as you just said a few minutes ago, we don't really want success.
Yeah.
Maybe we are afraid of success. Maybe that's what it is. I don't believe that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't believe that about us. I think that we are disconnected and we haven't really focused on being connected in this way. But we talk about it all the time. How many times have you had a conversation, not with me, but how many times have you had a conversation with other black people and they said, black people need to do what? Come together.
Yep, stick together.
Right?
Yeah.
How many times have you had that conversation? You can't even count them, right? You can't count it. How many times have we made a conscious decision to say, okay, if we need to stick together, let's start sticking together. Let's organize ourselves to start sticking together, or to bring ourselves together so that we can demonstrate to ourselves and to others what sticking together is. Somebody is asking the question, they just tuned in. What's the topic? The topic is organizing. That's what the topic is making a conscious decision to organize ourselves together. And 10 by 10 to win is that umbrella by which we are organizing ourselves. So that's what the topic is. It's not litigating the issues. We all know the issues. We all know what the issues are economically and socially. We know what those issues are. We can articulate those issues better than anybody. Just about everybody on here can articulate the issues.
No solutions.
But no solutions, right? And even if they have the solutions, we don't have the strength to bring the solution forward or to force those people in place to put those solutions in place. So we've got the solution. Many of us have the solutions. Many of us have great ideas. Great ideas. We have no organization. I'm not talking about some individual organization. We got lots of organizations, but we are not organized as a body.
Yep, as a block, as a body, yeah.
Unionizing our strength. Think of the physical body. Think of the physical body. You have 2 arms, 10 fingers. You have 296 bones, 263 bones, 32 feet of intestines. Our bodies are made up of many members, many functions. And if one of those members go out, it impacts the entire body. If you crash your finger, your entire hand functions differently because that finger sends the pain through the rest of your body. So the point is that all of the members are good, but if we had all of our members that were scattered all over the place, the body wouldn't function, right?
It wouldn't function.
It couldn't function. So each one of us is a member of the body, and each one of us is important to strengthening the body.
Right.
So rather than spending hours, days, weeks, months, years relitigating the issues and never organizing ourselves, they don't mind us litigating the issues. They don't mind us complaining. They don't mind us showing up and demonstrating for 20 minutes or 15 minutes. They don't even mind sending out cameras to watch us perform. You know why? Because they know that we're going to go back home to our individual silos because we are not organized to make them do anything. So that's where we are. And that's where, why you and I and others have decided that we are committing ourselves to organizing our body of our people. And everybody who is tuned in, listening to us now, if they really, really are serious and want to see real change, they too will say, you know what? Okay, we're going to come and be a part of the body, be a part of the block. That's what the block is. We are a unionized block of voters. You know, you have a plumbers union, you have an electrical union, you have a steel workers union, you have the Chicago teachers union, you have a
police union, fire department union.
You have all of that, right? You have all of those unions, and all of those unions have strength. Why do they have strength? And guess what? All of those unions don't have anywhere close to the numbers that we have as a community of people. Chicago Teachers Union, 25,000. The electrical union, they may be okay. All right. Okay. 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 All right. You know, you get me geeked up about this stuff. All right. Okay. Well, listen, Martin, you
go finish your last thing.
Yeah. So, in other words, all those unions, they have people. Chicago Teachers Union, 25,000. Those other unions have, 15, 20,000 people. But the Black community here in Chicago and Cook County, we have over 1 million people who are registered. That's just registered to vote now. Because I believe that we can bring the children in too, because, you know, they may not be, when I say children, we can bring our young people in so that they can get the exposure to carry this thing on when they become of age. We need to get them exposed to it early. This is a civic lesson for them as well. But in terms of actual voters, we have more than 1 million. More than 1 million. If we organize ourselves and tell people, okay, drop your drop all of your apathy, okay, drop all of that, drop all your disappointments and all that sort of stuff, okay, so let's do this. And I would say to people, prove me wrong. Prove me wrong. And the way you can prove me wrong is let us do this and go and show ourselves some example on what we could be like if we organize, and what we could get done, and how fast we could get it done if we are organized in a big enough block to be able to intimidate people in office. And I use that term because intimidate people is meaning them seeing that, oh, this group of people are organized. And that's exactly what they're going to do. They're going to go back and say, the Black folks have finally figured it out. They finally figured it out. We can no longer take them for granted. We can no longer disrespect them. We're not looking for anybody to love us.
No.
We just want them to respect us. And respecting us is responding to our demands and delivering what we need and want for our communities, period.
All right, Mark. Listen, people, we were just on here for a test run, and we just went on and just, hey, y'all know I've been filming for 2 hours. Mark filmed for 2 hours today. I think, was it 2 hours, Mark?
Yeah, it's 2 hours. Yeah.
But Mark got more energy than me today. Y'all know I can go, but
no, man. Listen, we, you know, doing this kind of work, I think, you know, we'll make it easy for all of us. Right, we'll make it easier for all of us. So we're just kind of doing the little leg work, but as the body comes in, it'll get easy for all of us. I know it will. I know it will. If we do it. If we don't do it, then we'll just keep on talking about it. All right, but I don't want to say, you know, before we leave, Mike, I know you're tired. So I'm saying to everybody on here, make sure that you text 10x10 to the number 844-504-0932. That's 844-504-0932. Martin and I will be in the meeting Thursday night. We're doing it by Zoom right now.
Right.
And we'll be doing in-person meetings, but right now we're doing it by Zoom so that we can kind of get the momentum going, right? Get the momentum going, and then we'll be meeting in person, and hopefully that we'll be outgrowing the places that we meet in. Because we're actually mobilizing this thing together. We're all doing our part. So Thursday night, I certainly would like to see you. I see Hassan Alamin, who is a part of 10 by 10 to Win. Sophia Young. I'm calling your people out. I'm calling your people's names. So see them all. So I'd like to see you all with us on Thursday night. We send out the link tomorrow, and then we send out a reminder on Thursday. So in order to get the link, you got to be in the text alert. So text 10x10 to the number 844-504-0932. And let's build the block and change the conditions for our communities once and for all. Thanks, Martin.
Thank you. Thank you, Mark.
All right. Okay, man. All right.